obviously to get to the big leagues, everybody has that physical physical talent. That's there. But the more I'm around, I'm sure you saw this too. It's the more you realize it's the mental separator is the one that you can really tell, what guys are going to stick and what guys aren't.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 39 of Mound Visit with Jason Grilli. I'm Casey Honigbaum. 39th episode in Studio 39. Joining us from Pittsburgh is Jason Grilli. I'm joining from the warehouse here in Cuse, but we've got a super special episode for you today. The number of the episode should tell you that, and I'll let Grilli introduce our special segment that we have coming up for this very special episode of Mound Visit.
Yeah, big time all-star closer. 39 saves for the black and gold. Pittsburgh Pirates, the Buccos, David Bednar, my neighbor right up the street, was willing to come on the show today. So I felt, that number is special to me being a former Bucco, and we got our guy to come on. He's a closer here in Pittsburgh. So I can't wait for you guys to tune into some of the things he said about his mentality, being a homegrown Pittsburgher. And this show's going to be awesome, man.
It's funny because we talk about the number 39. It was your number. He led the league with 39 saves last year. So it's like all this weird like Black Mirror, Twilight Zone stuff all coming together to mix into this.
Baseball. That's how baseball works, though, dude.
Yeah.
I know it's maybe not as exciting yet for everybody. It's important to us.
That's right.
I hope you listeners, get chills. So tell them where they can find us too, man.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, appreciate that. We can find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. If you just like to listen, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you could find it there. And you can also watch us on YouTube, and you'll be able to see the episodes there if you like to watch as well. And hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Show us some love. Same with our social media. We're interactive on there, and we always want to interact with you guys and get you involved in the show as well. So without further ado, David Bednar, the closer of the Pittsburgh Pirates, here on Mound Visit.
Yeah. This is the longest ninth inning we've ever had with two all-star closers. God bless. There's a lot of segues I could take for this. We got my new buddy here, younger version, better improved version of a Pittsburgh closer, But was I a fathead on your wall? Come to find out, I mean,
Maybe not a fat head, but I do remember coming down to PNC and getting pumped up whenever grilled cheese came in.
That's sick.
So crazy. I said that makes you feel old when you got kids that are not doing what you did, but I guess I did that to somebody too. Fanboying some of my idols. I just wanted to be like them, and that happened. But no, Bednar, great to see what you're doing. I'm hoping that the Pirates treat you fairly because I know, we've got all this Ohtani talk, the winter meetings, and all this stuff. It's kind of a daunting time because, it's just trying to find your true value. But bro, I can't imagine somebody like the Pirates even just not treating you the way you deserve to be treated because you've had some stellar numbers, and I'm saying it outwardly because not that they listen to me or listen to the show even, so we're safe here. We're not going to get you into any trouble by saying things we don't mean. But I'm a big fan, bro, and I'm always a supporter of get what you deserve. I've been in that position a few times, and sometimes I felt like you deserve more because you just comparison. Listen, I'm having some mental shit go on because of what I see with these contracts and Ohtani going like, whoa, dude, like I didn't really do anything in comparison to what's going on. You feel that way even as a player, and I can understand the comparison and the feeling less than in a sense. But I used to love when I faced Stanton. He was like the $300 million player. He at the time, for me,
was back when that was a big number. Back when 300 was the big number.
That's fucking change now. You know what I mean? That's only half a player considered what Ohtani got.
Right. I was actually, I'm curious to know what your thoughts on that are, and obviously we want to talk about you, but it's crazy news, not only just in the baseball world but in the sports world in general, seeing that number, that $700 million number, and then also all the recent news that came out with it, 680 million of it being deferred. What are your thoughts as a player, as a fellow player, seeing not only that contract, but then kind of the aftermath and everything that goes on with that?
Man, good for him. That's the first thing you think of. Wow, and also well deserved. Just what he's been able to do, and just it's unbelievable. But yeah, no, and then then to see all the deferred money and stuff like that, it's definitely kind of mind blowing.
Yeah.
But I guess it goes to show that he cares about what the Dodgers. I'm sure that was part of the negotiations and building a team around him as well. So
Well, I don't think
it's a pretty cool.
I
It's a
don't
pretty cool
think he's
concept.
missing a lunch on what millions he's already made. So
Right.
referring another almost $1 billion is like, okay. I hope you
It's
get to
casual.
enjoy that. I hope you get to enjoy the almost billion you got, because he's going to be like, if he's making 2 million a year or whatever he's going to make from
Yeah.
all these referrals, then he doesn't have to pick up the big league spreads. I guess the team dinner. But
I
no,
think from what I
Smart man.
saw, though, I think more than just 2 million goes on the Dodgers payroll because of the luxury tax. So I think it's closer to
Yeah.
like 40 something, but I think 2 million of that is Shohei's salary, which is kind of crazy that you're getting one of the best players of all time for $2 million. But it's still, it's a bonker. It was a bonkers turn of events. So
well, hey, good for the players union, and like I said, how this trickles down
yeah,
for everybody else. It's unprecedented, but it's opening up doors. And I don't know about Bednar. I used to be sore as hell after a game, and this guy's like going out and taking BP and hitting home runs in the right field. I don't know how sore
It's
you are. I know how sore I was. That's unreal. So I would be like, listen, dude, I don't want your money. I don't want to like just be swinging from your nuts or whatever. But to hang out with you, who's your massage therapist? Because that's who I want massaging me to feel good.
Yeah, what he's able to do is just outrageous. It's be able to pitch a whatever, however many innings, and then come in the ninth and hit a homer or something like that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's unprecedented. It's what you do in little league.
exactly. He's doing some things, but I just think from a name, image, and likeness standpoint, I just wrote my book, which I'm going to give myself a self plug here, and just knowing the importance of that being in the union. That licensing check's always nice to get in spring training from all being in video games and baseball cards and hats and jerseys that you get to sell with your name on it. But uh, him, I mean, even like I said, the biggest name, image, and likeness on the planet used to be Michael Jordan. Right now, we're talking Ohtani is today's day and age.
look at his.
Who knows?
David's got that
Brand.
sweatshirt on right there.
He's a brand, man. He's turned himself into a brand, and I almost look at it like whatever's going on overseas, the foreign players, and this is not a knock, but we're starting to see this like this is America's pastime, but we're seeing this influx of foreign players that the majority of the players are foreign players coming in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but good for him. He's going to be in every commercial. I hope he learns English very well, you know, because he
Yeah.
can
I
make
mean,
a lot of.
it's crazy for sure to see. But I want to ask David. I want to ask there. It's a little off topic and a bit of a apologize my abrupt segue here, but I know plenty about Grilli's post or pre pitching ritual, which was the three Ps. Which I don't know if you know this yet, but if you don't, I'll have Grilli explain it, and then I'd love to hear the difference between his
His
pre-inning
preparation. Yes.
ritual and yours from one Pirates closer to another.
So the three P's are you pee, poop, and you puke. And my
Oh yeah.
deal, Tony Palatucci, best chef in the big leagues,
Oh, by far,
right?
not even
So,
close.
so fifth inning, I would stretch. Sixth inning, I would pee right after I stretched. Seventh inning, I would poop. and then right before if the phone rang and the thing was going, I would have a good puke, and that's when I knew like my adrenaline was going. I'm game ready, and that was my three piece. Didn't force myself to, just was like I know I was ready to fight. So I don't know what your pregame ritual is. If I used to fire down some 5 hour energies. What do you got for the people?
Damn, I can't top that one.
Listen, I
No,
was scared a little bit. I can't imagine, being fearful to turn that fear, like, there's a little bit of fear in that adrenaline.
channel it.
You channel it, right? Because nobody wants to be that bug on the windshield. You want to be the windshield.
Exactly.
But okay, let's see. The Dodgers are going to come to town. We're going to stay in theme here, and we're going to get mentally prepared right now. You're going to have to face potentially, or your setup guy. So you better thank him or treat him to lunch if he's got to face Betts, Freeman, and Ohtani. I don't know how they're going to juggle those guys. They're going to get on base 4 out of 10 times, eat one of them, and be on base, hit a double, homer, and you got to finish out the 8th inning or the 9th inning against like that. That's like being locked in. You're going to have to be so locked in, but I would love and relish that. Are you not looking forward to that? I would be, in the same sense, to be like, watch how good I am, right?
No, absolutely. I think you always want those challenges. You always want to face the best of the best and see how you stack up. And I think that's what competition's all about, and seeing who's going to be that guy. That's why baseball's so great. It's just you versus the hitter.
Well, we missed your pre-inning ritual. Give us your before we move on.
Oh yeah. So I'll hot tub right around the start of the game, and then get out, shower, do some just get my stretching in, do some just prehab type stuff, and then I'll head out there with a cup of coffee, maybe some snacks. Who knows if I'm feeling it. And then I'll get down to the bullpen, hang out with the guys, shoot the shit a little bit. And then once the 7th inning comes around, that's kind of when I start moving around again. I'll do my bands in between the 7th. And then I'll, after that, move around a little bit more and then throw some med balls right as soon as Holderman's going out for the 8th. And then come the 9th, I'll crush my pre-workout, throw my I have a 2-pound little plyo ball that I've had since the one made it from my 8th grade year, from 8th grade until my debut year. So
that's awesome.
Shoot,
from the crib to the big leagues, it's made it all the way through with you, man.
But so now what I do is I write my name on the plyo ball, so I know which one I use all the time, and I see how long it takes for me to break it against the wall.
Superstition, right? There's superstition in that.
I got through 2 this year, so I was pretty pumped.
Hey,
but no, so I'll give three firm throws against the wall, try and make it bang, and then just get warmed up in the bullpen, and then it's go time.
Hell yeah.
You renegade.
Getting locked in. Think about it.
You still get pumped up, or do you not hear your walkout music?
Oh yeah, no, I hear it all the time. I love it. I think I love it just because I'm not even thinking about necessarily baseball. I'm thinking about like James Harrison sacking Joe Flacco in a big like fourth quarter fourth quarter Steelers Ravens game. That's kind of. I know how much Yinzers love Renegade, and I growing up being a big Steelers fan, I love Renegade too. So whenever I got traded over, I was like, what, this is going to walk out.
There you go.
That is awesome.
Have you ever met the band?
I have not met the band.
We need to make that happen.
Yeah, I know. I think we should make it happen.
That would be
pretty cool.
Yeah, you need that on.
Oh, without a doubt.
Part of your dig me wall. I got to meet Eddie Vedder, which was like,
that's a cool story,
right? And the greatest week of my life. I shared that with you when you were over here the other day. And like I said, this guy made forget saves and all this stuff. Good person right here. He comes and I told him my son had a kind of a tough day, high school kind of stuff, right? Adversity going on there. And Dave Bednar walks in. I had Renegade playing as he's coming up my driveway. He walks up my house. I leave the door open. I go, Jace, come here. his face just went from he got flushed, like he was so excited to see him. So thank you again, man, for being cool. And like I said, I'm just his dad, but he got all star.
I don't know. Does he know who his dad is?
Sometimes, it's all good. But
No, that was cool.
yeah, it was good. It's a good Christmas, early Christmas gift, man. So appreciate you doing that.
Are you tired of the same old baseball showcase you've come to know? It's time for a new experience. The Top 100 Experience, a high-powered multi-day event in a professional setting, showcasing your skills and talents at AAA ballparks. This is your chance to play at a professional stadium, learn from former MLB players, and compete in front of college coaches. This year is the first installment of their Stadium Series. The experience will be back at MBT Bank Stadium, home of the New York Mets AAA affiliate, and then the event heads to PNC Field in Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of the AAA New York Yankees. For more information or to register today, visit top100sports.com and click on the Top 100 Experience page, or click the link in the description of this video. There you go. No, it's really cool stuff. And I wanted to ask you too, when you look at, your success as a closer in Pittsburgh, and, I know you were drafted by the Padres and came over in a trade to Pittsburgh, but, you kind of look at the success that you had in San Diego versus what you've had in Pittsburgh. What was kind of what happened in that switch? Was there something that you figured out? Was it maybe something that a coach pointed out to you in Pittsburgh? What was that switch like, and what allowed you to be able to have the success that you're having now?
I remember it all started after 2019 was a decent debut, and then I had a really crappy last outing or two. So and then so I was feeling pretty good going into 2020, and then I ended up not making the playoff bubble roster.
Okay.
And because that was during the COVID year, and you could take your probably fit a group of 50 people. And I was on the 40 man. I was like, all right, man, I'll probably at least get a chance to go and be a part of this. And I didn't get put on in the bubble, as they called it. And I just kind of looked back and I was like, man, all right, so I know my stuff's good. I know it can be good. I know I've gotten big league hitters out. So what's the deal? So that kind of off season, right as soon as I got home, I just kind of put the pedal to the floor even more, and just had that focus. If I'm going to get beat, I'm going to get beat in the zone. I'm going to get, I'm just going to be my stuff versus their stuff. And I really kind of took that to heart. And, it kind of just so happened I got a fresh start in Pittsburgh that spring. And it was kind of just right place, right time. And, it came in the spring. I didn't know if I was going to make the team or not. So I just wanted to go kind of balls to the wall and just let it rip and just see what happens. And, just knowing that I wasn't going to look back and be like, if I just would have done this or done this. So I think that was kind of the turning point. And then once I saw I had some success with it, had a really good spring and then making the team, and then just kind of that kind of confidence and everything like that kind of continued to grow into, kind of what it is now. And, you're always kind of learning, always kind of looking back and learn from mistakes and what you did right, what you did wrong. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just kind of continue to evolve with it.
So it's not only a change of scenery, but also it's a change of scenery mixed with a lot of hard work. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the change of scenery definitely didn't hurt at all. No. And then obviously to feel like Superman the first time I put the black and gold Buccos jersey on, I'd be lying.
Come true, man.
I mean, it was, oh man, that whole first spring training, I was like, man, you look around, you see all the fans wearing Pirate stuff. I'm like, no way, they like the Buccos too. I'm like, and then I realized, I'm not in San Diego anymore. So
that was the same for me when I put on the Blue Jays uniform. I like you. My team was the Blue Jays, so to be a Blue Jay, even as a player, right? And sometimes I love your journey and what your hat says, nothing fancy. I think it wasn't the physical ability that you had. You were deemed a big league player. I think what we all go through, and I just saw Sean Casey, a good friend and guest of the show here, I just saw him speak up here at no off season to all the kids in the hardcore program here in Pittsburgh, and he just was talking about the mental. He's got a program about grit and mental strength and what you went through, but the mental game of baseball. That book is so undervalued. And before your time, Harvey Dorfman, Legend and Legacy. If you haven't read that book, anybody at any time, I'm rereading it. Why? Because I want to pass that baton onto my son, my nephew, and my youngest son too. I want to reread it because if you don't go through that book, there's always one chapter that's always good. And I know you probably sounds like just even what you're going through now, especially as a closer. If you're not mentally prepared, forget all the physical preparation. We got to wait all day to pitch that one inning at the very end. So you show up at the ballpark at 1 o'clock, you might be closing it down 9:30, 10, maybe even later. Well, there's not extra innings, so lucky for you, they don't play games at midnight anymore. But right, I mean, the mental capacity that you have to stay locked in until that part of the evening. That's a lot of work, man. People don't realize.
Without a doubt, I think that's kind of been the biggest separator. Just kind of seeing the past couple of years, obviously to get to the big leagues, everybody has that physical talent. That's there. But the more I'm around, I'm sure you saw this too. It's the more you realize it's the mental separator is the one that you can really tell, what guys are going to stick and what guys aren't, and why certain guys have success, and it's all the mental side and how you're able to kind of just move on, and just take everything, just be truly present in that moment, and just take it one task at a time. And I think especially throwing the ninth inning, you kind of have to have that mentality, because if you get too caught up in just anything else, even if it's a roller coaster game, you're getting caught up and you're living and dying on every single run change, then you're not going to be as prepared as you possibly can to throw those late innings. And I think that's something I try and do. Just focus on what I can control. Obviously, that still being a good teammate and everything like that. But as far as results go, just focus on what you can control and not trying to worry too much about what's outside of your control.
Absolutely. So who would you say then is your mentor, or who do you chase now as a big leaguer? You sit around and go, there's big leaguers, there's all-star players like yourself, and then there's Hall of Famers, guys that will be deemed and chasing that Hall of Fame career. To get to what's the difference? You sit at the All-Star game and you probably have experienced it. Like, this guy's different even in the All-Star category, right? You're going, this guy's elite, and there are those players that you go, I know. And again, I'm going to go back to Casey was like sitting there with Scott Rowland, who was a Hall of Famer, and he was sitting there going, watching Albert Pujols. Go, what's the difference between us and even a guy like him? And they said he wouldn't give at bats away on a Tuesday night, and they're down 10 runs or whatever. The tenacity, right? That's all the mental stuff that you got to stay in it, and it's a hard thing to do, right?
Absolutely, especially over 162. It's hard, and you have to find ways to whether it be just switch up your routine ever so slightly, or just add a little twist to it. You have to find different ways to stay engaged for every single game, because all it takes is, especially as a reliever or really anybody, is one bad game, and everything is kind of skewed. And it's locking in 162, because at the end of the day, in the season, you don't want to look back and have any regrets, and you just want to be and also you don't want to let your guys down. It's they're playing, they're busting their ass all game long, and physical mistakes obviously going to happen, but a mental mistake is not acceptable.
It's really interesting.
Who's your mentor? Who would you say you use to lean on? Because you got to have somebody, and it could be one of your own damn teammates. It doesn't have to be. I don't know. Who's your go-to guy?
Yeah, I was really fortunate when I came up with the Padres. They had two guys that I look up to, and is Craig Stammen and Kirby Yates. They were both the veteran guys in that bullpen. And 2019, when I made my debut, that was when Kirby was having just a unbelievable year. So just to watch him kind of go about his business and handle the ninth inning, and just how he gets guys out, how he prepared, how he physically prepared, how he did all the scouting report stuff, just how he was as a teammate, and then the same goes with Craig Stammen. Just the longevity he had in his career, and he was just able to post year after year, and that's something that's incredibly impressive. I saw firsthand like all the work that went into it, and that really rubbed off on me in a good way. And that was again, I think I was just so fortunate to have those kind of guys around, and I think they really set the tone for my career.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think a lot of guys, you think about like, guys like Grilli said, guys who have mentors in this game, and I think those are even two names that you might not even think of at first, but guys who have guys who have been mainstays in big league bullpens for their entire careers. So there's something to that, especially when you said, making it to the major leagues. Obviously, yeah, that's one thing, but you kind of figure out the guys who have the mental capacity to stay there, and it seems like that's really what separates people. And to kind of go off of that, you mentioned only worrying about the things that you can control. And I know one of those things that you can't control is how often your name is brought up in trade rumors, not only at the all-star, around the trade deadline, but in the off season and stuff like that. And obviously the Pirates know how important you are to them, but what is that? That's got to be a whole nother mental hurdle for you.
Listen, we talking a lot of Dodger blue talk. They're going to be winning 3 World Series the next 10 years. So if you get traded to the Dodgers or a chance to go there, just saying, I don't care if you have to go to the 6th or 7th inning guy, right? You might want to get that hardware.
Well,
I don't want you to leave, but
of course. But how do you deal with that as a player and just worry about what you said, worrying about the things that you can control, because you're human, you hear that stuff. So what's that process like?
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that's much easier said than done. Just simply don't think about it. No, I mean, regardless of, I try and do a good job of, blocking it all out, but, obviously there's going to be times where you see some stuff and you start thinking a little bit, but, at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter. You realize it just doesn't matter, and obviously there's always going to be smoke. There's always going to be rumors. There's always going to be that. And, and most of the time, whenever you see all that stuff, sometimes, most of the time it leads to nothing. So it's, why work yourself up for something that you have no control over, and B, they're just rumors also. So, I mean,
clause, right? Unless you get that no clause in there. I'll tell you what, you probably would hope for. Maybe not. I don't know. But you got a brother that's pretty good, too. I think that would be sick if your brother started a game and you got to close it in the big leagues. Who gets to do that, man? That's got to be something on your Christmas wish list, I would think.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. That would be that'd be one of the coolest things. And, just to have that opportunity to play with him, that would be unbelievable.
Well, you'd have all of America rooting for that, because that would be a crazy story that I don't care what team you're rooting for. If that situation happened, I'd be chills. I'd probably have a lump in my throat. Knowing you, I haven't met your brother yet, but I know you guys are pretty tight in the baseball family that you have. Your dad's, God, what a coach. I got to meet that guy, man. 2 big leaguers on the board, So, and a good mom, I'm sure, to put up with a baseball family. You got to have good week.
She's a saint. She's a saint.
I bet.
It's a really cool, anytime you see, professional athlete families, it's always a really cool thing to see. But I wonder, like, was that one of those things that helped you kind of growing up? I assume it was, that you kind of had your brother I know he's younger than you, but you guys were always competing. I'm sure that had to drive you, and obviously, with him, it gives him something to chase as well. So that probably had to be something that helped your career a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like I set a pretty good bar for him, and then, after he won the College World Series, was the most outstanding player, whatever, of the College World Series, first round draft pick, and it was like, damn, all right, I got to set this bar even higher now. Like, you're, man, it's unbelievable. But man, that was one of the most fun times as I had watching him, and just so proud of everything he's accomplished and will accomplish, and it's so cool to watch his journey.
So
That's so
does
cool.
mom give does mom give like a turkey leg to each of you equally, or whoever has a better year gets a little bit better portion of turkey?
She's non-biased. I
That's
think.
good.
I think it depends on the day, though. Whoever's over gets it.
That's good, man.
I love
So at
it.
least you have a throwing partner. He's here locally, or is he out west?
He's here locally. He's been battling some injuries right now,
Mm.
so unfortunately, my throwing partner is out of commission currently. But hopefully, he'll be back soon, and I'll get an easy throwing partner.
That's
There you
good.
go.
Built-in thrower. I know. I
I
use the
love it.
chain link fence, the bucket of balls,
No,
the chain link fence. It's not as cool, but
builds character though.
it does. It does.
Well, speaking
I
of,
couldn't believe it.
go ahead, Grilly.
I was saying I lived in Orlando. There's a plethora of guys that live in Florida and Orlando to boot, and I couldn't believe how hard pressed it was. I asked Zach Greinke one time if he wanted to throw. He was out golfing because I guess he was going to be a PGA guy at one point. So that was when I was like, you know what? I can't rely on anybody but myself to throw. Everybody's got their off-season program, and I just found a chain link fence that I got to beat up, and
Hey,
you know,
whatever it takes.
whatever it takes, man. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, I was gonna say when you talk about that, whatever it takes, that mentality, that's a real Pittsburgh mentality. And I know I listen to the Pat McAfee show, so he's a bit, I hear all the what do you know about it, all that sort of stuff with
Oh
the
yeah, come on, Dad. Oh
exactly,
yeah.
come on down here, yeah. But I love the how that seeps into to professional sports. And I gotta, what your Steelers, man? Do you have faith? Because it's always like you trust Mike Tomlin. Grilly and I were talking before their last game, and he was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know what." But I'm a Bills fan, so I'm trying to see my boys sneak into the playoffs.
Okay.
So I don't like. I'm sort of like doing some scouting here. I don't know what you think, but I'd love to hear what you think about your Steelers.
Man, I still have faith. I think with Mike Tomlin and the boys, you always have faith. Of course, losing those two games were not ideal. But I feel like they're going to find a way to get in the playoffs. And once you get in the playoffs, who knows what can happen?
Yeah, just get in the dance.
I mean,
Listen,
yeah.
Bednar's a big dude. I think we put some pads on him. I wouldn't want to tackle him. Maybe
They
we
need someone to
secret
block. So
Seriously.
I guess.
I would hate to see you in pads, dude. Did you play football as well?
In high school a little bit, and then I had a back surgery, so I kind of put sideline that
Oh,
one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Football doesn't give you longevity as much as baseball does. Even Deion Sanders made that known to guys. Like, hey, if you got a chance to play baseball over football, it's a much better way to go to be a professional athlete.
yeah, he ain't wrong.
Good
You're
game.
doing a great job at it, man. It's just give us your lowdown too. We can't bring up Pittsburgh and a Pittsburgh guy, a true Yinzer here. What is your go-to if Casey's never been to Pittsburgh? I've been trying to get him here.
Mm-hmm.
What are your go-tos that I would say bring him to these three places to eat or see something? What would you say? Hey, never been to Pittsburgh. We're gonna go do this. Casey's never been here.
Oof. Well, I think the easy one is you got to try and schedule around a Pens or a Steelers game or a Buccos game, I guess too. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking my off season. I think if you've never had it, you got to do Permanis. Have to. Just
Okay.
great sandwich. Have to. French fries on sandwiches. Also, if you get not that I'm a big salad guy by any means, but if you get salads here, they put French fries on them. It's the best thing ever. French fries on everything. It's outrageous.
We
It's the
carved
best.
that.
Yeah, I was so confused. I think the rare occurrence I got a salad somewhere else, not in Pittsburgh, and I was like, where the hell are the French fries? It's bullshit. But no, definitely for Manny's. I would say you got to hit Kelly's or Pamela's for breakfast.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
I'm trying to think of, we'll go Italian for dinner for our guy Grilli here. Let's go. I like Dianoia's a lot, and I also like La Familia up in Mount Washington. I
There
don't know
you
if you've
go.
been there. And then another great one. Oof, Monterey Bay. It's up on the hill. Great views of Pittsburgh. One of the better desserts in the town too. Angel Food Cake grilled cheese. Fantastic.
I told you about Rico's too.
Oh
Remember
God.
you
Oh,
took
Oh yeah, Rico's cool.
we got to
Solid.
go there, man. You and I. That's
Gotta,
where Franco Harris was. That was one of his. That legend right there. That was one of his hot spots. Rico's.
all I
So
know is I think I saw your picture on the wall. I saw Donnie Kelly's picture on the wall. So I texted him that. Legend.
yeah, we're trying, dude. But you're the living legacy right now. You know, we're just black and white pictures. You're all in color, man. And hey, if you never followed and didn't know, because I know there's not a lot of Pittsburgh Pirates fans, this guy right here, number 39, episode 39, 39 saves. I'm like, who better to have on this episode?
Yep.
Pass the baton to this guy. Love what you're doing, man. And thanks for everything you got going. And just good to know you, man.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank you for
having me,
joining
guys.
us, David.
Episode 39. Let's go.
Episode 39, baby.
In the books.
We hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Pirates back-to-back All-Star closer David Bednar. Really cool hearing stuff about his mentality, his kind of like you mentioned, and I think it was really awesome to hear. You could kind of tell, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you could just tell how much it means to him to pitch in the city that he grew up in, and or the pitch for the team that he grew up idolizing, which is I think is something really special.
This is a baseball town, man,
Yeah.
and I know that for a fact. I'm a transplant, but seeing what happened with my fraternity brothers in 2013, that
Yeah.
meaningful game it meant to this city, and that this kid, I call him a kid. He's a grown ass man. David Bednar's a bad mamma jamma, and he's prideful to wear that black and gold. This city bleeds it. We're the only city that wears the same colors
Yeah.
for every major sports team.
Yeah.
So if unity and the community, it's something different here. There's something different when people come, and if they've never been here, which I know you have, we got to get you here, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to introduce you to that flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so to him, it's cool to see a homegrown, another Neil Walker, another guy, David Bednar, probably one of the other guys that people don't know are from here. So
Yeah.
wearing that black and gold is very meaningful, special to him and his family.
Yeah, well, it was special to talk with him today, and I hope you guys all enjoyed that as well. And just a reminder that you could find us, if you like to watch us here, you could do that on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. You can find all of our episodes there. And if you just like to listen to the show, follow the podcast wherever you get your audio podcasts, and hit us up on social media. Like we said, we're active on there, and we want to interact with you guys. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we will see you all next week.
Put it in, yes!